I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are here at Mobile World Congress 2012, and I am speaking with Andy Germano. How are you today, sir?
Very good, Tony. Thanks for coming.
Fantastic. Listen, you used to be you're now the small cell form, but you used to be the femto form. Why the change?
Why the change? I thought you were going to say, hi, Andy Germano from the femto form, and I was going to have to say, no, it's the small cell form. Yeah, why would we do something like that? Well, actually, the work that's going on within the femto form was already encompassing the small cell concept. So we said, most people think of femtos as residential.
They do.
But what we've done is the femtocell has kind of grown up and left home into enterprise, metro cells, picocells, and outdoor urban areas. Even rural areas are using femtocells. So it just made logical sense for us to include these unrepresented areas into the forum. And so calling it a femto forum didn't make sense anymore. It was more sense to call it a small cell forum because these other technologies, these other picocells, metrocells, and microcells are actually using the same chipsets of the femtocells to get the economies of scale that femto offers, to get the plug-and-play, easy install capability. All the economies are now coming into picocell guys using femtocell chips. So they're part of the small cell forum now.
So just say the convergence made sense and the name makes sense. You and I have been speaking for years.
Yes.
Simon and I have been speaking for years, just about the concept of small cells just to begin with. Then, within the last 12 months, we've seen a tremendous growth. Some great numbers have come out into the market space. Last year it was like, woohoo, we're finally here. This year, explosive, and I want you to talk a little bit about where those numbers are headed.
Yeah, we just published this week the new Informa report that came out, so it's freely available on our website, smallcellforum.org, and what Informa is calling for is a 20x growth in deployments, in cell deployments. We have 50 operators that have launched commercially, globally. We're starting to see operators that have 500,000 units deployed per operator. We're expecting to see 4 million units shipping this year, according to the Informa numbers. We've also got some numbers from ABI that's similar growth rates, where they're saying 2016 is a $20 billion year for the small cell industry.
So as opposed to me doing it, because I can do it really fast, but I want you to do it because you're the representative of the forum. Why is that? Why is the LTE is here now? Why is there going to be this massive increase in small cells to begin with? Where's the economics in it?
LTE is by definition a small cell technology. So we saw an announcement here Tuesday morning by Mindspeed, one of the leaders in the small cell chipset space, and they said that covering Barcelona will have 40,000 small cells in Barcelona by 2016. And they've done similar studies for New York and London, just to show when you get to 100 megabits technology, if you put 1,000 people on a big cell, it's not really 100 megabits for you anymore. The other thing that happens is with this capability to do 100 megabits doesn't really go 100 miles. It doesn't go 5 miles. It doesn't go 3 miles or kilometers. So LTE is inherently a small cell technology just from basic physics.
So then all of a sudden, you've got this idea that there's this massive throughput and it's data generated. So you got to be able to offload somewhere along the pipeline to reduce first of all, just the capital costs alone of putting LTE infrastructure into place is just going to be tremendously heavy on the carrier. So you got to be able to offload that data into less expensive systems.
Exactly. With the smartphone phenomenon with Android and iPhone, we're seeing this exponential growth in data. So offload is clearly a huge topic at the FIRA, at the Mobile World Congress this year. And what we announced this week is a Wi-Fi femtocell interwork, and we call it Integrated Femto Wi-Fi paper, which we have an announcement from Contella, who's a Korean vendor, and they announced the first LTE small cell deployment for SK Telecom in Korea. In Korea, we're seeing greater than 10% of cell sites in Seoul going into congestion mode. People in Korea have had the highest broadband penetration and the highest bandwidth average experience per user, and so they're used to a lot of multimedia content. So they're heavy users, and what happened with smartphone deployments, suddenly, existing capacity wasn't enough. So emergency, so this new unit actually leverages the APIs, the platform interfaces for LTE that we announced October 2010. It's in commercial operation right now in Korea. So this box has Wi-Fi, 3G, and LTE, all in one box, helping the offload situation in Korea. So the box is smart enough with integrated femto Wi-Fi to direct the traffic. So if it's a voice call works best on 3G. If it's a data session where you want to download a big file, that probably works best on Wi-Fi.
Absolutely.
If it's streaming video, that's going to work best on LTE. So the the device, the network becomes intelligent. So you don't have to have the user deciding. One of the biggest complaints this week when they're talking about Hotspot 2.0 is this SSID and WPSK and logging in with integrated femto Wi-Fi. When you get off the plane, where's your phone hosted? UK or US? But when you came here to Spain, you just turned it on and you can make phone calls, send text. If you want to spend the money on data, you can do data. Right? It just works. So we're leveraging the knowledge of who you are in the mobile network to log you into the Wi-Fi networks. You don't have to do SSIDs, you don't have to do WPSKs anymore. It's just automatic.
And I want that to be able to travel with me as I'm walking up and down the street, and there are Wi-Fi hotspots in the arena that I happen to belong to. Exactly. I want it to pick up, and I want those charges to inevitably, start to lessen.
It's seamless. Grandma or mother-in-law or non-techies, they don't even know what an SSID is, and if you tell them a PSK, what is that, and you have to sit there and type it in. It's just we're making the user experience better in terms of the data offload. Users don't have to decide, should I go Wi-Fi, should I go LTE, should I go 3G? It happens in the network.
And for the operator, again, the CapEx spending is just so much less.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really important thing, because at the end of the day, users don't want their bills going up, and carriers don't want the ARPU going down.
Yeah, right now I don't offload, I don't leave the Wi-Fi on all the time because of the battery concerns that I have. It's my own user experience that my battery's going to drain twice as fast if Wi-Fi is on. I'm not going to turn my 3G off because I need to receive my phone calls.
Absolutely.
So yeah, now you're in a case where the network can be intelligent, the devices can be intelligent, and the user can just relax and enjoy the experience.
And then finally, Andy, you had a particular committee within the forum itself, and I want you to talk about that particular area, and then wrap it up with why membership has its benefits. Why should people be engaged with the forum?
Okay, awesomeness. Hi, developers out there. We've had a really exciting time. I'm the chairman of the Services Special Interest Groups. We've evolved now that we've done enough work that we're an actual working group within the Small Cell Forum. So what are we doing out there for developers? So last week we made an announcement with Open Mobile Alliance. So in March at CTIA we announced this set of APIs that developers could use to write applications, small cell specific applications like home reminder service and all these little cool things you can do with small cells. And then in the summer at the World Summit, Alcatel-Lucent, Telecom Italia Mobile, and Accenture actually demonstrated a service, an art service, where you go to an art museum, you walk in front of the painting, and instead of having to rent one of those headphone things, it tells you information about the painting. And so Telecom Italia Mobile announced their support of the API in June. Now what we're doing is we're taking it out to the whole world. So the Open Mobile Alliance has published hundreds of APIs for the mobile development community, obviously a successful community, and so our APIs will be standardized within the OMA moving forward with our cooperation agreement.
Really important. I mean, again, I'm going to come back to the ideas. We've been talking for years about small cell technologies as a whole. Finally, it's deployed, it's out there, it's in there in the end. Now that next step for the app development is fantastic.
This stuff is real. It's not future. Right here this week, we're demonstrating 8 different places where you can actually experience live these small cell type services. So we have a Facebook app right around the corner over here at IP Access where you can set a reminder to feed the fish, water the plants. My plants are looking a little thirsty, so I can set it for 5 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm not home at 5 o'clock, so by the time I get home, I'm not going to remember to feed the plants, but now it reminds me when I walk in the door, hey, feed the plants. And the fish, the cat will tell me, hey, I'm hungry, dude, feed me. But the fish, poor guy, it's like, oh, sorry. So we've got some really cool apps.
Whoops.
And what we're trying to do is enable the community, enable the developers with the APIs. These guys are coming up with all cool stuff that we haven't even imagined yet.
Yeah, those are the innovators. Those are the guys who do a lot of the cool stuff, and I can appreciate where you come from.
So we've got a website for you guys. It's smallcellforum.org/developers. Go there, and you've got all the APIs, all the white papers. We've got videos. We've got little stories telling about use cases. And the other thing we announced this week with Epona is they've written an emulator. So now a developer in China can write an app for a mobile operator in the UK or anywhere in the world. He doesn't have to have the actual hardware. He can just write the app, and over the internet he can test his API against the standardized API and make sure it works.
That is exciting stuff. That is absolutely fantastic. And you're going to see a flood of applications for that is just going to continue to bolster the economy, which is, you can see here at this conference, was so much busier this year. Tech is leading the charge for the global economy.
Yeah, a couple years ago, apps were kind of like here and there, but now we have a whole apps planet up in Hall 7 where you go in there, it's like a different world. It's not the old infrastructure world, right? It's the developer world, no ties allowed and this kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Andy, thanks very much for taking the opportunity to speak with us here today. I hope to get a chance for an update. CTIA is coming up, so I'm assuming we'll talk again.
We'll see you there. See you at CTIA in New Orleans.
You got it in New Orleans. Been speaking with Andy Germano here of the Small Cell Forum at Mobile World Congress. I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV.